my friends. It is December 9th, 2018, 10:36 p.m. All right, we are tracking Winter Storm Diego. Sorry, I have not been able to post too much on this storm lately as my work week just ended, so I could finally catch you guys up. And we are in the brunt of this right now, too. Some of these areas of North Carolina and even South Carolina got some massive amounts of snow. Um, super icy, snowy conditions all the way through Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia. There's snow falling in South Carolina. We even have a strip of snow passing through the dead center of Florida currently, and I'm going to show you that on some other charts. These are current temperatures, and then the wind chill, not too much of a difference. I mean, we are in the teens in the Northeast, but again, this storm, Diego, is more of a mid-east storm. It's not really pulling up to the Northeast. We do have a little bit of snow that is going to come down from Canada that may touch the areas of the northern Northeast. That's also something I'm going to speak about. But obviously, the main issue right now is what's going on in the Carolinas. Now, I want to show you guys something here. These are some of the totals. Now, check these numbers out. They are obviously in order. Salud, North Carolina, 18.5 inches have fallen between the 8th and tonight. We have Lionville, North Carolina, 18. Just look at some of these numbers and then look at the state names. North Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia. These are numbers you do not see very often. This is a very significant storm, still is a significant storm, and some of these totals are still rising. Charlotte, North Carolina, 2.7 inches, and you could just see some of the drastic differences in areas. For example, Vanceboro, North Carolina, 1 inch of snow compared to another part of North Carolina, 18.5 inches. So these areas are, some of them are getting slammed, some of them are getting a little bit of a break, more like a rain slush deal. So this is a very unique storm. But for those of you that want to look at this chart, this is some incredible stuff, especially for these states. For this time of year. And believe it or not, guys, we have another system kind of like this, very similar, that is making its way from the northwest as of right now, near Oregon and Washington, which is going to swing down to the middle of the country and then kind of do the same thing we're seeing right now. So we may be talking about this in the near future again. But for those of you that want to check out these snowfall totals, this is AccuWeather.com. You go to their main page, and this is what you'll see in the beginning is up here. Live update, over 500 accidents in North Carolina as snowstorm produces hazardous travel conditions. There's over 200,000 people without power as of right now. Unfortunately, there has been one death as of now reported. I have that pulled up somewhere here. I think I did. But it was put out by the police department of that area. I may have it written down here. Let's see. Yes, so East John Street in New Charles, near Buckley Way. The tree fell and unfortunately took the life of someone. That's all I've seen so far as things of that nature. Hopefully that stays the same. Very unfortunate situation. Usually that's the case when you get that heavy ice and the snow building up on trees. They're not strong enough, especially in these southern areas that are not used to the weight of ice and snow. These things break, and unfortunately, this person happened to be underneath it, and we have lost this person. So that is just not fun to talk about. But as far as what we're looking at in the future, now, right now, like I said, Boone, North Carolina, 16 inches of snow, finally tapering off. Now, there is going to be a little bit of a system that moves through Monday. You can see here on the last frame, it looks as if the storm is finally moving out into the Atlantic. I can't move this any further, but you could see these spotty areas of purple. That is snow. That is moisture, and the purple and blue means snow. This is actually going to come down into the same area and could add another 1 to 2 inches in some of the areas already slammed by Winter Storm Diego itself. So Sorry about that. That was a refresh. So if I back this up here, you can kind of see what's been happening over the last 12 hours or so. We had some severe storms passing through Florida. This was rain at the time. You could see the Panhandle had some snowfall. They're de-icing planes in the North Carolina airports. In fact, I have a picture pulled up. Someone provided off Twitter. If I could find that too. Here we go. This was from Mike's Weather Page. Yes, credit to Mike's Weather Page. It's a very, very good website for looking at different data charts for weather. It's one of my main sites I go to that I check on a daily basis. But as he quoted in this tweet, this is not something you see every day. They are de-icing a plane in the Charlotte airport. So North Carolina certainly under winter weather advisories, and for the current ones right now, we have, let's see, we have Virginia basically covered in winter storm warnings. North Carolina pretty much covered. South Carolina has counties covered in winter storm warnings, and then winter storm watches underneath that. And like I said, these little areas right here are going to swoop down through Monday and possibly add another 1 to 2 inches on top of this. So again, this is a mid-east storm. This is not so much going to pull up this way. What's going to happen is another system's coming down over the Great Lakes, which may cause a lake effect snow deal. So let's check that out on Tropical Tidbits, and it can explain a little bit more what we're talking about. So as of right now, this is current storm. The low pressure is centralized right over North Carolina, just off the coast of North Carolina. But what's happening is that counterclockwise spin, pulling in the moisture from the Gulf over Florida, which is why we saw those major storms earlier in the day, now switching to snow, which we also saw in the Panhandle. This weather is coming up and it's moving counterclockwise. And as it's moving into the coast, you could see the jet stream dip with this blue line is down in this area. So this is all super cold air, and this is just mild enough to where it's not going to be snow. So you see the pinks and blues, that's that cutoff line right there where the snow and the sleet and rain mix is. And then anything south of that, you could see some of it dips into South Carolina, and then even Georgia could get parts of snow in northern parts of Georgia. So this isn't quite over yet. We still have a couple hours left before this pulls off into the Atlantic. You could see a little bit of snow up here touching parts of the U.S., up in Maine, maybe a little bit in Vermont, New Hampshire. But what's coming in the future is what I want to show you now. So here we go. Keep an eye up here to the northwest near Oregon, Washington, and then it's going to swing down over the Rockies, and then you're going to see it connect with a big strip of moisture that comes up from the Gulf, and we're going to be looking at basically the same situation we just saw now. These two are going to meet right here over Texas. North Texas is going to receive snow in the coming days. Let's just show you. Here we go. You ready? All right, if I can get this thing to move. Okay, there we go. Oh, they actually reset it. So actually, let me backtrack to the last. There we go. This is the one I wanted to show you. So as you see, now this is updated. So now it's moved off even more into the Atlantic. You could still see those spotty areas near the Carolinas and just the south area of West Virginia. So we got Virginia still getting snow, parts of North Carolina, Kentucky and Tennessee, the eastern parts getting snow. And then watch as we move forward into time, we could see what this system is about to do. And this is the one that looks very similar to the one we just dealt with. You could see it's a high pressure here. And then as we move forward, you're going to see a low pressure pop out right here. Low pressure, high pressure, moisture being pulled up from the Gulf. And then as they meet together, they begin to do the counterclockwise spin. And that is pulling the cold air. This is December 13th now, next Thursday, pulling the cold air down far enough to where North Texas will receive snow. And you can see all these blue blotches going all the way up into Canada, Missouri snow. And then as we move forward into the end of the 14th into the 15th, that low pressure gets very strong. So these are pretty severe storms we're dealing with. When you get the low pressure with the tight rings, you know there's going to be a lot of rain associated with it. And if you notice, a lot of this is green because that dip has finally moved off into the Atlantic, and now we almost have an uplift. So there's a little bit of warm air coming in. The Gulf air is aiding and helping this, but that's not changing the fact that these are severe storms that we're going to be dealing with December 14th, basically from Georgia through South Carolina, North Carolina, and possibly into Virginia as that moves on. And then as we move on a couple days farther, this is a hit or miss deal because after 5 days, you want to be very careful about your predictions. But it seems to be pretty solid that this is going to be a system that moves down from the northwest across the Rockies into Texas, and then the severe weather is going to start around Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, definitely going to be involved in that, and then it cuts right up to the northeast. So the northeast storm looks as of now to be more of a rain issue. It's still going to be chilly. It's going to be cold, rain, unpleasant conditions for sure, but it's looking like it's not going to be a snow situation. Now, if we want to take the chance of going into the future a little more, you could see that throughout the week after Sunday the 16th, there are days where there are going to be random snowfalls in the northeast. As the days go on, we will have more detail and expectations of what we're going to be dealing with those snowfalls. And then, if we want to take it even farther towards Christmas time, big low pressure system dipping in right from Canada. Pretty much that's a significant dip right there. It's going to be very, very cold over the Great Lakes in the central part of the U.S., and that low pressure zone is right over the Great Lakes. So anything being turned counterclockwise is going to get cold in Canada. That cold air is going to come back around to the U.S. over the Great Lakes and could produce the lake effect snow. Once again, Watertown, Buffalo, those areas are those key areas that always get slammed when it comes to the lake effect deal. And then as we move into our last frames, as we move into Christmas, the low pressure system moves off into the northeast, out into the Atlantic, still pulling snow down. Look at this. West Virginia expecting snow on the 21st. Areas of Pennsylvania clear, Virginia clear, Chesapeake Bay with a little bit of rain, but clear. It's just very interesting how some of these little strips are bringing snow to certain parts, and then just a state over, it's rain. So it's very, very hashtag bipolar weather. I love using that term now. It's definitely making sense to me now. And then as we move into Christmas, you could see not too much detail because they don't really know what's going to happen, but just to give you an idea of what to possibly expect by the 23rd, getting very close to Christmas, day before Christmas Eve, actually, you see this big strip of snow going right over the Great Lakes, which could cause some pretty crappy travel in the Northeast. So we don't know if this is going to happen quite yet. We got to wait a couple more days to make sure that those the jet stream and these low pressure systems are still moving in the same direction. But nonetheless, guys, this was a very, very big, significant, messy situation that is still going on. Those snow totals I brought you some of them were just incredible to even look at. So, all right, let's look at a couple other charts and then I'll let you guys go for this one. Really quick before I get into some of these articles and interesting pictures of the Carolinas. This is Chimney Rock, North Carolina. You can clearly see this is a good, easy foot of snow here. This was published December 9th, and Winter Storm Diego tracking through the southeast with snow and damaging ice. So with that said, I've had some pictures sent in. I put a couple together. We already looked at this one via Mike's weather page. Thank you for this picture, Mike. This is a great shot. It basically sums up what they're experiencing there when they're de-icing planes in North Carolina. But this picture here, thank you, Hope Chapel. I hope I'm saying that right. Chapel. Regardless, these pictures are great. This is exactly what I was looking for. You can see that's a good 6-7 inches. I'm sure it's higher by now. And then we have this one here. You could just see the snow on the cars. So thank you very much for those pictures. Anyone else that has pictures or video they would like to send in, I will be gladly, more than happy to show them on the channel and give you guys credit for getting out there in the cold and taking these pictures. So I really appreciate that, Hope. I thank you again. And really quick, let's just take a look at two of these articles and get an idea of what they're dealing with. Like I said, 500 accidents, probably higher now. The 200 plus people without power, that has certainly risen. I know that for a fact. I just read a little article but I had already made the thumbnail, so I don't want to go back and change it. Major snowstorm, which has already buried parts of North Carolina with over a foot of snow, will continue to cause travel disruptions and power outages into Sunday evening. And then again, they added to this Monday, you may be dealing with another inch or two of snow. With those little spotty blue spots I showed you before. But just take a look at some of these images, guys. Just not something you see every day in the Carolinas. I mean, last year, yes, we did. So I'm still on that seesaw line whether or not this is going to be a normal thing every winter now. But clearly, there you go. This is Virginia getting the brunt of it as of right now. You could see how it turns to rain once it gets to the Atlantic Ocean because that jet stream dip. Ooh, sorry about that. That jet stream dip we were looking at, if I can get back to it, there we go, comes right here and then comes right up this way. So you can see that line cut off right there where this is rain and this is snow. So like I said, guys, Jetstream runs everything. They are in charge. And last but not least, here are a few numbers for power outages in North Carolina. You can see the numbers here. 794 people in this county, no power. 10,151 people in this county, no power. So these numbers accumulated with the South Carolina and Virginia numbers, you're getting well over 200,000 people. And that is due to the ice and the weight of the snow. It's just, that's the way it works, guys. Living in the Northeast, I'm very familiar with power outages when it snows. And especially the ice. The ice is always worse than the snow because it just sits there. It's very heavy. And then check this out. When do you see stuff like this going on in North Carolina? A fleet of plows trying to keep the highways clear. So that's pretty much what I got for you for now, guys. I have another video already being set up so I can catch you guys up. I don't like missing days, but unfortunately, the work schedule, like I've said, is a priority. Got to be done. And then I take my time to catch you guys up for 3 or 4 days during the week. And besides that, some cell phone videos. So, all right, everybody, stay safe. Continue to send me those updates if you want to be featured on the channel. More than happy to do so for all of you. Caroline and I thank you both for everything, or thank you all for everything. And sorry about my voice, a little stuffed up. Allergy season, you know how it goes. But all right, guys, I will be back probably within the next hour or two with another video. A little bit shorter video. We're going to start focusing on specific areas of the U.S. And I want to touch on some of these earthquake movement things that we've been dealing with as well. So thank you again for your patience, and we will talk very soon, guys. Stay safe, stay warm, be prepared, have a plan. Hashtag bipolar weather. Into thin air out. Later, guys.